Sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day...
Well, it's a Pizza Friday night, and guess what? There's no pizza left. It's gone. Woo. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, 8 p.m. on a Friday night on the East Coast. Glad you're in. Slick Rick sitting right there is going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's got the news.
Hi.
That's Kevin Downey Jr. sitting right there. He's got some news as well. Mr. Downey Jr., how are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. I'm lovely. I can't wait to get my medal from Joe Biden. I figure if Liz Cheney can get one, they're probably just passing them out. And I helped a lady fix her flat tire once on the side of the highway. I don't know if that's good enough. I want to see what the other recipients have done to earn this medal. I'll have that during the show.
Delgado says her medal, the little box that came in, there was a pardon stuffed in the bottom of it. So
you have the pardon right there with it.
Came with a pardon. So I don't know if you were aware of that part of it, but yours will not.
No.
You are not off the hook for all of the bad jokes over the years.
They're giving me the chair.
Yes.
That's something.
How have you done any comedy shows? Speaking of jokes.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
In the last couple weeks?
Smithtown Performance Arts Center here in Long Island on New Year's Eve. It was a hoot.
Oh, New Year's Eve shows are always fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Was it a rowdy crowd?
No, but some idiot brought their own noisemaker. That's one of the things I hate about...
Oh, Vin was there. I didn't know Vin was coming.
I hate the New Year's Eve shows at comedy clubs because sometimes they put all those stupid things you blow in. And then you get some drunken Jack Pudding who's just like during the setups and the punchlines and whatever. One guy brought it, but they took it away from him. That's what I love about the theater.
Okay, very good. All right. Kevin will have some news coming up. Slick, how are you?
I'm doing good, Big D.
Looking good in your Prince Purple tonight?
That's it, baby. Purple.
I like it. That's what I said. Prince purple, right?
My color, I know.
Yeah, that's a good color on you.
Thank you.
called you-
Every color is a good color on you, Slick. How is that possible?
I don't know. I'm just very lucky. Yep.
You know-
listen, I've been wearing color for so many years. I just embrace it.
You are a colorful character, as they say.
They say, what do you do on TV? I do the color.
Yeah,
I'm the color guy.
Color commentator. Yes. What's coming up in sports? Anything catch your
We got a
attention?
couple of
today?
stories. We got odds makers coming up at the end of the show.
Oh,
Don't forget that. We can't miss that.
Well, we have no guest tonight.
No guest tonight. Unfortunately,
my goodness, what happened?
We couldn't hook up again. Well, the holidays.
Farmer
was a
Brooke
little-
didn't want to come back for a third try.
Yeah, he was getting plowed somewhere. Poor Farmer Brooke, we love him.
Yeah.
Well, no, we got the California surfer rides a potential world record 108-foot wave earlier
I could have
today.
done that.
That's sure,
Yeah.
exactly backwards. And then ESPN was slammed because they skipped the moment of silence for the terror attack victims. Typical wokeism continues with ESPN,
Yeah.
and they should ban that whole network.
All right, we'll get to all that in sports coming up. Of course, sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. Delgado's going to have the news. How are you?
I am good.
How was your day?
My day was, it was interesting.
He's got to contemplate it.
You know what it is? Because I
No.
went somewhere.
No, we don't.
He's sorry he asked, actually.
I talked to someone who's got sources, and then I went down digging.
Oh, my God.
Wait, you talked to someone who
I
what?
went somewhere, talked to someone who has sources and experience now from what they've seen, and then I went digging. Yes. No. Not a psychic.
A
Aaron.
palm reader?
Not a palm reader. No.
Yeah, your haircut at the same time.
Is this source named Google?
No.
Is this source named GB?
Could be.
GD with a B, with a capital B.
Yes, it would be a source that you and I share.
Okay. A source.
What?
What do you mean a source?
The source that gave us the Robert F. Kennedy leaving the Democrat Party to run independent. Yet that source,
Oh, that was a good
Yes.
lead. That was a good lead.
that source.
Okay.
Remember 2 weeks before it happened, we reported it here.
Okay, fine. So we'll go with that source.
That's a source.
What was he giving you today?
Drone talk?
Drone talk.
Drone talk.
Oh, God.
I know. You thought we'd forgotten about it. No,
No,
because the
we wish
drones
we
are back.
forgot it.
He raised a different angle, which
Was-
I didn't. I had no idea.
Was my son part of this conversation?
No, he wasn't. He was in a different room.
Okay. You left him out of it.
Yes.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I didn't want him to tip you off.
Ah, okay.
I wanted, I wanted to get your authentic reaction.
Yeah, well, you got it.
If there is such a thing.
What?
Okay.
I'm telling you, I did some digging on it. I'm going to bring it up. I've got video.
Okay. Stay tuned for that at 10:01. We'll get to that. That's coming up.
In the third hour, yeah.
We'll do news with Delgado plus his sources. We'll get to all of that. So, well, we had the speaker vote today. And I guess the interesting part of it, was maybe slight drama. Those of you who are with me all afternoon, I appreciate you being a part of it. We had fun. So I don't need to, no pun intended, drone on about it again tonight because I think pretty much everybody knows my position on it. And if you were watching this afternoon, you certainly do. But I guess the only drama, a little bit of drama, that he didn't get there. Well, he ended up getting there because they didn't call the first vote closed to go to a second vote. But he had three Republicans who voted for others. We'll just call them others. I think one was Byron Donalds, one was Jim Jordan.
Yep.
And one was somebody else. I don't remember. But anyways, so we'll just call them the three others. And then they left the vote open, didn't necessarily close it to go to a second round. They kept it in the first round and then did some wheeling and dealing, backdoor stealing, everybody get together.
Didn't he corral two of the guys and then went off and did
Trump
a little
called
powwow?
them. Trump called both of them. It's the word on the street is that Trump called the two of them. And what do you know? Came back and and we have a speaker. So Mike Johnson takes the gavel again. I shut it off after it was pretty much after he was announced. I didn't see his speech or Hakeem Jeffries' speech or any of that. But Mike Johnson takes the gavel again. Congress gets sworn in. And now we head towards Monday, which of course will be the certification of the election and the electors coming to Congress. January 6th. We all know that date will live in infamy for all the wrong reasons. But we'll see what this Monday brings. Kamala Harris was swearing in the new senators today, I believe, right? Was it senators? Yes, she was doing.
That was today.
Oh,
And
boy.
I saw J.D. Vance there having a grand old time. And I saw that at one point, Kamala had to lead the, I guess it was leading the Pledge of Allegiance. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah.
And I think I have this clip. And I mean, I think she's just at this point, as I think I said, I think she's just so far gone at this point that she does. It's just one of those deals. Here she is leading the Pledge of Allegiance today.
Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the. Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the United States.
The United Nations.
Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
So there you go.
Something you've been doing since kindergarten.
Whoa.
Yeah. She got the first 3 words right.
Yeah.
Yes.
There might have been a liquid lunch. What time was that done?
Yeah. That was around noon. Yeah.
Yay. Could have been an early brunch.
That was around noon. So that was interesting. So, Delgado, what'd you think of the speaker vote today? I don't know how much of it you got to watch, but give me your thoughts.
I got to watch none of it. I read about it, and then I saw the the little powwow that they did. I'm like, well, that's what you got to do, right? This is how these things work, I guess, is that they pull these guys aside and be like, because we saw it last time when they replaced McCarthy. They kept, making calls and getting people on the phone and doing this and trying to finagle votes. And that's luckily for Johnson, it only took one phone call with 2 guys, and it was done. So I think it's probably good. Like I said, I'm not jumping over the moon for Mike Johnson. I'm not going to put my faith in someone who has shown he can disappoint us. But now with the right person who's wielding power over him in President Trump, let's hope that he can steer him to where he needs to be and get these policies through.
Speaker Johnson today tweeted, "The American people have demanded an end to the status quo and a return to fiscal sanity. Now, that's why the citizens of our great country gave President Trump the White House and the Republicans control of both chambers of Congress. If we don't follow through on our campaign promise for fiscal responsibility, we don't deserve to hold power. The national debt is a grave threat to America's economic and national security, and no issue exemplifies the Congress failures more. Republicans have a real opportunity in the next 2 years to make meaningful spending reforms to eliminate trillions in waste, fraud, and abuse, and end the weaponization of government. Along with advancing President Trump's America First agenda, I will lead the House Republicans to reduce the size and scope of the federal government, hold the bureaucracy accountable, and move the United States to a more sustainable fiscal trajectory. As the Speaker, I commit to, 1, creating a working group comprised of independent experts, not corrupted by lobbyists and special interests, to work with DOJ and our committees on implementing recommended government and spending reforms to protect the American taxpayer. Number 2, I commit to task that working group with reviewing existing audits of federal agencies and entities created by Congress and issuing a report to my office for public release. Number 3, request House committees undertake aggressive authorizations and appropriations reviews, including providing additional resources where needed to expose irresponsible or illegal practices and hold agencies, individuals accountable that have weaponized government against the American people. If we want to restore fiscal responsibility, we must start by being transparent about the dollars that are spent, address the issues we find, and then hold those accountable who have misspent funds. Republicans have a mandate to implement the America First agenda, and as Speaker, this will be my priority, he says. And I guess what's funny is he focuses all of that on the fiscal part of it, which is what I've been talking about now forever. But yet, as Daniel Horowitz points out to Speaker Johnson today, you went out of your way last year to increase spending when you would have had $76 billion in cuts for free with a CR last spring. You gave free money to Ukraine, continue to, and Hamas in return for nothing. And then even after winning the election on cutting spending, your first action was to increase the deficit by $310 billion. Yet we are to believe that somehow you're going to head now in the complete and total opposite direction, which I think is... I said this afternoon in closing the stream. I want everything he said to be right. I want Mike Johnson to be about fiscal responsibility, individual liberty, limited government, all of these things that the most conservative speaker we've ever had, you would think, would be wanting to do. My brain tells me the first $400 million package of spending that goes to Ukraine is going to remind me that is sheer crazy town to think that it's going to be any different than it's been in the last 2 years with him as speaker. Because I don't think it will be. But we'll see. I hope to be wrong. 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B, just getting started. Slick will do some sports. Delgado's got news. Kevin Downey Jr. news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Glad you're in on a Friday night. We're back right after this. Have you guys seen Sean Ryan's today?
No. Oh my goodness.
I watched all of it. Every living second of it I watched. And some of it I've watched again. I got a clip from it. Aaron, did you grab that clip? Okay. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
It's, I mean, you know, in these things, like, you have to use your own, obviously, you make your own decision on what you think, but it is, if nothing else, it is... it's like Netflix thriller type of craziness in this email this guy got from supposedly this guy, and the breakdown of it. I think I have the money clip from the whole episode, but there's a lot of clips.
I know the police, I guess, verified.
That's a big part of the story. As I'm watching it on my computer screen, on my TVs in the studio at home, that press conference is on. So I'm watching this going, man, this is crazy. Could this possibly be true? It makes sense to me. Like, a lot of what this guy's saying, like, this guy totally seems so credible. And Sean Ryan, obviously, also. And as I'm watching it, I hear on the TV somebody bring it up. And the guy's like, yeah, we are to believe that it was actually written by him. And I was like, holy cow. Like, they're actually giving credit to it, saying that, yeah, we actually believe the email's real. Because you read that, you hear the guy read the email and you're like, this is like some kind of novel out of
chat.
Ralph Norman said Trump was in the middle of his golf game when he called him to press for his support and reminded Norman of his backing of Nikki Haley in the primary. Norman said to Trump, we're with you now. We will be with Mike Johnson.
In other words, do you want to get primaried? That's what that sounds like. See, that's playing hardball. Oh, my goodness. So much going on. Oh, here you go. Here you go, Aaron.
Oh, the foggiest notion what you're talking about.
All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's going to do some news. Before we get to sports, though, Kevin Downey Jr. is here as well. Kev, what did you think? We haven't talked to you all week. What did you think of, obviously, everything leading up to Johnson and the speaker vote and what we saw today? And what do you expect from 2 more years of Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House?
You know what? I think we had our backs against the wall on this one. I think the Democrats are going to do everything they can to keep Trump from getting into office on the 20th. And I think we just had to play ball and roll with what we have at this point. Like they say, you don't go to war with what you want, you go with what you have. And this is what we have right now. I'm not the biggest Mike Johnson fan in the world. I don't hate him. I think he's better than Kevin McCarthy, but that's a whole different conversation there. However, I think when you've got Hakeem Jeffries lurking around, you have to get stuff done. You have to get it done. You can't give these Democratic Party animals a shot because they will take it. They walk in lockstep against us. They fight amongst themselves, but they are just in lockstep against us, and we have to adopt that attitude, I think. What do you think?
Well, I'm not a fan of Johnson at all, what he's done. I think he's been the total opposite of what he claimed to be. I think he's been hurtful to Donald Trump and to the Republican Party since he started, so I'm not for him at all. And I'm certainly not for all of a sudden giving up, supposedly, the courage of all of our convictions on what we believe just because we want to get along and grab the pom-poms and all jump up and down and say, yeah, this is, So I'm not for him at all. But it is what it is. Like you say, here we are. Mm-hmm. We'll see what the next 2 years bring.
Right.
I just don't want to hear anything about inflation or money to Ukraine or all the things he's proven that he's seemingly for. Some of the votes he's taken, some of the votes he's voted on. You can go back. It's all there. Some of the stuff he's voted on, if in fact nothing changes. And we'll see. We'll see. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the code to use. Slick Scott at Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, we got a little golf going on right now out in Hawaii. The Kapalua Resort. Big stuff. $20 million purse, too. Hideki Matsuyama, he's out of the chute first, Big D. 2-day, 16 under. He leads the pack. He trailed by a 4-way tie for second place. They're 2 strokes behind. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll have a full report on Monday. Beautiful Kapalua, Hawaii. What a great place to play golf, huh, Big D? We got to take a trip there. The Century in action. Day 3 kicks off tomorrow. I know. NCAA football. We got a little football action tonight. Another bowl. Guess which one? The Duke's Mayo Bowl, right? Where the head coach gets the whole thing of mayo shot on him right after the game. Not bad. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers right now trailing Virginia Tech 7-0 end of the first quarter. So we'll keep you updated on that as well tonight. Little NHL action as well on the ice right now. Penguins trail the Panthers 1-0, 10 to go there in the second. Blackhawks blanking the Canadians 1-0, 14 to go there in the first. No score, Senators and Blues midway through the first period there. Ducks and Oilers coming up out in Edmonton at 9 p.m. puck drop. And at 10 p.m. way out west in the Pacific Rim there, the Canucks are hosting the Predators. And we'll keep you again updated on those scores. Hornets over the Pistons right now, 65-52 at the half in the NBA. Also NBA Magic 47-31 over the Raptors. The Celtics trail the Rockets 15-12 early in the first there. And Pelicans up 13-4 over the Wizards. 8 minutes to go there in the first as well. Knicks taking on the Thunder. The hot Knicks. Knicks are looking good this year. Right? Yeah. Woohoo! And they're tied at 15 right now with the Oklahoma Thunder. 6:37 to go there in the first quarter. Get to a couple of stories. Well, this one got some big news. ESPN slammed after skipping moment of silence for terror attack victims during Sugar Bowl. Paul Boy of Breitbart reporting ESPN has been taking heat on social media for skipping a moment of silence during the Sugar Bowl broadcast, which was held in honor of the victims of the terror attack in New Orleans earlier this week. The attack occurred on New Year's Day when 42-year-old Shamsu Din Jabbar drove a pickup truck through a crowd of revelers on Bourbon Street, killing 14 people while injuring another 35 more. As a result, organizers decided to postpone the beloved All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans until Thursday to show respect and ensure proper security. According to Daily Mail, the decision was made by the Bowls Committee in consultation with ESPN. That game went forward as scheduled on Tuesday after law enforcement thoroughly swept the area through security checks. But neither of these moments, the anthem or the silence, was shown on ESPN as the network insisted had a studio show breaking down the game, noted the Mail. People on social media immediately voiced their displeasure, with some even blaming Disney's ESPN ESPN, the parent company, for the decision. Really, ESPN? You won't show the national anthem and moment of silence for the victims of the New Orleans jihadist terror attack? There's no excuse for that. Disney CEO needs to step up to the plate and demand complete reorganization of the network, or just sell it now, said one user. Of course, these are just users saying this. But bottom line, people not happy. While ESPN did not show the moment of silence live, it did show images of fans bowing their heads with an American flag unfurled midfield. It also shared a statement from President Joe Biden addressing the terror attack while excusing They do it better off showing the moment of silence than Joe Biden, because that is a moment of silence whenever that guy speaks. But that's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you. But people not happy with ESPN nor Disney. No surprise there.
All right, Slick, very good. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell. MyPillow, LFS6B is the promo code to use. MyPillow.com/LFS6B is the place to go to shop at great stuff from MyPillow. Let's do some news. News is brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition, available live from Studio6B.com on the website. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, I mentioned this yesterday, and like clockwork, here it comes, kids, the new narrative as to the terror that you're seeing on the streets of this country. It started in New Orleans, and of course, we played the clip yesterday of Alejandro Mayorkas talking with Wolf Blitzer as he laid out who was to blame. And again, I tell you to pay attention because he says he repeats a few things here, repeats one thing a couple times to make sure you know the real terror threat is not who you think it is. It's not those wacky people coming across the border from Islamic countries. No. Here's cut 4. Just a quick reminder before we get to Lawrence O'Donnell. Cut 4, Mayorkas with Wolf Blitzer.
The perpetrator of the terrorist attack yesterday in New Orleans was an Army veteran, a U.S.-born citizen. We have spoken now for about 10 years about the phenomenon of an individual resident in the United States radicalized to violence by a foreign terrorist ideology or other ideologies. We're speaking of a veteran. Here.
Get the narrative yet? The narrative is veteran. Why do I bring that up? Because I said it yesterday, and this is a new talking point. MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell claims U.S. military personnel pose a greater threat than illegal immigrants. You don't believe me? Cut number 3, Aaron. Let's show him Lawrence O'Donnell pushing the new terror narrative for everybody to gobble up.
The New Orleans terrorist, like Timothy McVeigh, reached the rank of sergeant in the United States Army. The simple fact is, this country has suffered more deadly terrorism at the hands of American-born citizens who are veterans of the United States military than people who have crossed into this country at the southern border. It is very clear from the evidence that if you want to worry about terrorism in this country, the United States Army is a much bigger problem than the southern border.
Yeah. Get the narrative yet?
Yep.
As they are pushing. Of course, that's MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell arguing that Americans should be weary of the U.S. military and not illegal immigrants, that the U.S. military is going to be the one that's going to commit the terrorism. And the fact that he can only name one other person, Timothy McVeigh, more than what is that, 30 years ago? Mm-hmm. He's got no other names. Meanwhile, there are tons of illegals and foreign-born terrorists that have crossed onto our shores who've committed terrorist attacks. But don't tell that to Lawrence O'Donnell, and don't tell that to the mainstream media. This is the new narrative. Be afraid of the military. Why are they doing this now? I don't know. Well,
we're going to talk about Sean Ryan and what's going on in Vegas here in a little bit, but they made a good point in their podcast today about the Fort Bragg stuff, saying, when you look at how many people go through Fort Bragg, how the enormity of what goes on there, that the numbers they're talking about are so minuscule when they point this out. All right, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do. We're back right after this.
And we're live in the chat.
Chat. Ruby Ivy. The trash man in the YouTube chat. Look at that. Sandra Trumbo is making a prediction, Rick, for the Vikings game.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Slick's a prediction for Lions versus Vikings, 38-35. I'm assuming she wants the Lions to win 38-35, right? So we'll see what happens there. That's going to be a good game, I'll tell you. That's Sunday night. Kevin, you're going to be watching that one, right?
Yeah.
Big Lions fan. Ford Field, 8:20 kickoff. That's going to be must-see TV. Winner takes not only the division, right? The NFC North, they take the first round bye, and the road to the playoffs goes through that city.
One seed.
Ooh, as long as they last, obviously. Yeah, number one seed, that's huge. Well, Detroit really has been the team. Minnesota kind of snuck up there. They were, I think Minnesota might be a little bit of an overachiever. I am leaning towards Detroit, although I do love the Vikings. I really do. I like the team. But Aaron Donald, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sam Donald. Yeah, he's not that great. Yeah, but he's a Jet. He's an old Jet. I don't think so.
Yeah, we make you do that when you come into Detroit. We hose them down.
Hose them down first. We don't let loser walk in here. Let's hose them down.
Yeah, Sandra. She's on the Lions. Oh, Mr. V says Vikes 31, Lions 28. Woo, field goal. Big squeaker there.
Talking about a squeaker. Oof.
Richard Dodson taking the Vikings, too. Mustang Gary. Love the jacket. Mustang Gary. I wonder if you know Sally.
Yeah, more news.
Yeah. But do you want to jump into the Vegas guy? I can do one story and then we can jump into that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Did you guys talk about the young girl in England who got arrested for being drunk and disorderly? But
no.
Okay.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Kevin Downey Jr. is going to do some news here coming up. Aaron and Fran holding it down. We were doing the news with Rick Delgado. We'll do a little more of that right now. Brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition. Great vitamin supplements available at livefromstudio6b.com. 15% off right now. Anything you put in your cart at livefromstudio6b.com on the homepage. Delgado, what else is going on in the news?
All right. Well, of course, we already covered it that Mike Johnson has retained speakership of the House of Representatives. And among the things he said, along with the things you quoted, he also promised to drastically cut the size and scope of government. And let's see if he actually follows through with that. The House of Representatives also adopted new rules that would make it harder to trigger a vote to oust the speaker there, Damon.
Yeah, what do you know? What do you know? We've got worse than Mike Johnson's first act as the 119th Congress. He adopted Pelosi's rules and then made them worse.
House makers voted 215 to 209 along party lines to set the chamber rules for the 119th Congress. Among them was a measure to raise the threshold for calling a motion to vacate the chair.
Yeah,
why not? Which sets off a House-wide vote to depose a sitting speaker. Ex-Speaker Kevin McCarthy agreed to lower the threshold to just one person.
Thomas Jefferson rule.
Yeah, in order to win over the holdouts and clinch the Speaker's gavel in January 2023. But the 119th Congress is now raising that number from 1 to 9.
Oh.
And amending the rule further to specify that 9 members of the sitting majority party must be the ones to call for the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. And you know what? I don't think that's going to be tough to get.
Pelosi's
9.
was 5.
Pelosi's was 5?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be that tough to get 9 if Trump says, let's get him out of here. So we'll see what happens. It sparked fury among Democrats who accused Republicans of eroding the significance of the minority party. But what did they say? I believe it was Obama who said elections have consequences. So there you have it. makes it clear that they have no intention of working together to find common ground. Instead of electing a Speaker of the House, they have decided to elect a Speaker of the Republican Conference, they said, held hostage by their most extreme members. So there you have it.
What the definition of extreme is actually what? Like having something that you actually believe in and not getting wavered off of it?
Yeah.
I guess that's extreme nowadays. Like when they're right-wingers, those who believe in like limited government, the Constitution, the way the founders actually wanted it, the actual constitutional representative republic we live in. So now the what'd you call them? The extreme element?
The extreme element, yeah.
The extreme element of the party is the part now, this is where we're at, that actually believes in smaller government, sticks to it, doesn't just grab the pom-poms and listens to the orders of get in line or else.
Right.
That's the extreme element now.
It won't give us blank checks to just spend
Gotcha.
money where we want.
Okay, got it.
And last but not least, and I know this is something you spent a lot of time on, so let's get to it. Matthew Livelsberger claimed Cybertruck bombing was to cleanse his mind of his brothers he lost and trashed feckless leadership of the USA, which is near collapse. Excuse me, this coming from the New York Post. Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber Matthew Livelsberger claimed his shocking suicide wasn't a terror attack, but a way for the U.S. soldier to cleanse his mind. As strong evidence suggests, he penned the manifesto, citing Chinese drone spies ahead of the fatal explosion, authorities revealed Friday. Now, Damon, you said this is tied
let's get into
to the
this.
Sean Ryan
So
thing.
Sean Ryan posts an emergency episode today with a gentleman named Sam Sauer, who is I guess, former analyst or current analyst or former analyst, government analyst, and who received an email from this guy Livsberger the day before this happened. He said, this episode takes a deep dive into the manifesto, which is an email sent to Sam Sauer by Matt Livsberger himself. Within this chilling document, Livsberger boldly declares, what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. Matt Livelsberger, a former Green Beret, is at the center of this story. Just days before he drove a Tesla Cybertruck loaded with explosives to Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, the Cybertruck incident has raised serious questions about Livelsberger's motivations, his credibility, and the information he shared. In this episode, we unpack the manifesto's contents, which include allegations of advanced drone technology, U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan, and the use of gravity propulsion systems by China. So here is the actual, before we get into the video, let's put this up. Here is the actual email that he received, this guy received.
All right.
You could put it full screen, Aaron, so maybe people can read it. He says, in case I do not make it to my decision point or on to the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 Jan and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with the quote-unquote drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems, powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S. Only we and China have this capability. Our OpSend location, Operation Center location for this activity is in the box below, and he gives the location of where this is supposedly coming from. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloons for SIG-INT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned ACs. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere on the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because I know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid, which this guy says in the interview that when he spoke to the FBI about this email, the FBI didn't know what that was for a V-bid, which stands for, I think, vehicle something IED. So basically a car bomb. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile, and I've kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimrits province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcasts that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA and Agent Redacted of the DEA, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. So anyway, so you get the sense of what this email is. So Sean Ryan has the guy who received this email on his podcast today. And, I mean, I could obviously play the whole thing. You should watch the whole thing, make a judgment for yourself. The part I do like mostly about it is both of them lead with the idea of none of them can quantify really any of this, obviously. But they can do their best to try to figure out what is going on here. So when they talk about the explosion in Las Vegas, this, for me, was probably the money clip of the entire interview. Roll that, Aaron.
I mean, it's very obvious why he did this, I think. He wanted to bring attention to the incident in 2019 that got covered up. Do you have any insight, any theories on this?
So we had a running theory downstairs. I've seen all of the conspiracies. I've seen all the questions about, all right, this guy is 20-year special forces. He just got done with team sergeant time. He is a very qualified and very capable Green Beret. Everybody I've spoken to who knew the guy prior, yesterday I spoke to several people, to include his old team leader, who's now lieutenant colonel, said he was fine, nothing out of place. His mental state was not something that anybody was concerned about. His ex-girlfriend posted photos of him bragging about how he got a Tesla and all this other stuff. So stick with me here. Very capable guy, but he loads the Tesla up. A Tesla, which Elon Musk brags about being bulletproof, right? So this is one of his selling points. It's bulletproof. We even saw Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at it and wasn't able to puncture this thing. So he loads up a Tesla knowing that it's going to, not explode like he wants it to with fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's going to level this place. Here's what I think. So the PAO, the Army PAO, is saying that the body inside the cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was no, they said he was shot by a Desert Eagle. We know that there was no signature when it rolled up. So nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X. He goes into this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert, and he talks about this, and there's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up, or it's already shot, excuse me. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message. And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture, was the FBI inside his signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
Well, the other
answers
thing
a lot
is,
of questions.
The other thing is maybe the FBI wasn't in his phone. Maybe, I mean, this guy's obviously very competent. I mean, he's got a TSSCI clearance, I'm sure, with a polygraph. He's been associated with USASOC. Obviously, he was on this operation in 2019. By the way, the general in charge of that was General Miller. You'll see that in the email that we post on X later after this interview comes out. You know, maybe he changed his number on purpose and switched phones because he obviously was tipped off or conducted his own counter surveillance and caught Homeland or FBI tracking him. And so I think there's a very good possibility that that Matthew Livelsberger might be still alive.
It checks, as far as I can tell, it checks all the blocks.
Wow.
That's 3.5 minutes of about 61 minutes.
Wow.
And it will, again, you go into these things, you use your, you would watch 61 minutes and go, these two guys are out of their mind. Right. You could watch it and go, holy cow, like I did.
Yeah. I'm pretty intrigued by the email and what was revealed.
It is something else on what's going on here. And is all of this to expose this operation in 2019? All right, live from Studio 6B, we'll do some news with Kevin Downey Jr., Sports with Slick, when we get back right after this. Interviewing, he comes across as so credible, like at every turn. Like he starts the interview by saying, listen, I don't normally, like he really like comes across like so credible. He's not some whack job, like looking for clicks and he doesn't even want to be in this position. But this guy dropped it on him, right? Because he runs some kind of a big, he starts the interview by saying he runs some kind of a, like, what do they call that thing? What's that thing that you can have like a server where all people can go and talk? Not like a website, but it's like.
Fran would know.
Fran, what's that thing called that people have? You can have it. It's like almost a big chat room that people can come and.
A chat room?
No. I'm so
Zoom,
old.
not Zoom, right?
No.
Or,
he runs a big military, whatever.
In other words, he found the guy would be trustworthy.
You're talking about something like a Discord or
Thank
Telegram?
you, Discord.
Okay.
Yes, Discord.
Yeah, that's just an app that has a chat room in it.
He runs some big Discord where people give him all kinds of tips and stuff on, Department of Defense, all the inside military. I mean, what's going on? So the guy, I guess, knew him from that, Discord, and so that's why he dropped this to him. And he said, "Can you get me to Pete Hegseth? Can you get me on Fox, or can you get me to Sean Ryan?" And the guy actually didn't know Sean Ryan. He's like, "Oh, dude, I don't." He spoke with him over Signal, which I guess is this encrypted app. And he's like, "I don't." So
in other words,
so the guy took it and did his research and got to Sean Ryan, and obviously that's how this thing came together.
So this guy Livelsberger looks like he's a whistleblower because he's talking about the drone technology.
That's actually what he says. He says, "I want to blow the whistle" in the email that he sent to Sean Ryan's website, which Sean Ryan didn't even know he had sent until they were doing this interview. And he said, we should check and see if this email address ever tried to contact us, because they don't check all their emails. And sure as shit, it did.
Now, Elon Musk said his car was not in self-drive mode right before it got to the Trump hotel. But I don't know if there's a way to override that. Or that could really be his body.
I don't know.
He could actually be dead.
Absolutely, could be.
Although it's weird that his ID wasn't destroyed, but he was burned beyond recognition. I find that odd. Unless he threw himself into the explosives. But then again, how do they know they were just a bunch of fire?
I guess because of the way.
There were a lot of unexploded ones they pulled out.
Yeah. right, 13 to the hour live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. So, yeah, if you're interested in that 3.5 minutes, you'll really be interested in the whole 61 minutes. It's on our X at LFS6B. The entire interview's there, plus all the documentation, the articles to the 2019 bombing, the UN put out talking about those bombings, the email now that they discovered that he actually sent to Sean Ryan's website as well, where he actually says, I want to blow the whistle, basically calling himself a whistleblower. And obviously the full interview. So if you're interested in this stuff, check it out. Again, just go into it with an open mind and decide for yourself what part of this, if any, you think is credible. I find a lot of it credible. This guy, Sam Sauer, I think is his name. I don't know how you come off more credible than he does when you watch this. At every turn, he takes every precaution and basically says, I'm not running with crazy conspiracy theories. I'm not going to post this. This is not for social media. I'm still active in my community. I'm taking great precaution. I mean, I don't know how you come across more trustworthy than this guy comes across in this interview. And it makes a lot of sense, both of them. So check it out. It's on our X if you want to watch the whole thing. Kevin Downey Jr. is here. He's the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 9 to 11, weekday mornings, 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island. What's going on, Kev?
Thank you, sir. As you know, I've been talking about this for a long time. There's been it's a sick thing happening in Europe. There's a group of men, Muslims mostly, so I'll just come out and say it, who have been raping their way through Europe. And England, I think, got the first and the worst of it. And the cops were just afraid to arrest anyone because they didn't want to be called racist. Well, things are coming to a head. And this is kind of an ugly story, but the cops were called to a house. A neighbor heard a young girl scream, and they knocked on the door. And it says here one, but it turns out they're actually two drunk, completely naked 13-year-old girls and 7 Pakistani men. And the girl was arrested for being loud and drunk. And the men weren't even questioned. And this is just coming out now. And keep in mind, folks, England, more than almost any other country, probably any other Western country anyway, they are gone. They've been taken over by DEI. There's a video you can see I shared of a man who's being arrested for a meme that caused anxiety because he was saying, hey, what's with all these Muslim rapes or something dangerous like that. Well, now England they're going nuts. It's come to a head. Thank God. I hate that it's come to this, but this comes from my friend Lincoln Brown at pjmedia.com. Headline report: UK cops arrest drunk teenage girl, but ignore them 7 men with her. They were not even questioned. Then nothing happened to them at all because, again, people are afraid to say, hey, that's racist if you point out who's doing it. This is DEI. This is what's going to happen here if we don't stop it. DEI, remember, is nothing more than a Marxist plot to instill their useful idiots, their talent-free useful idiots into positions of power, and then tell them what to do, and they will do it. They're all in on it. They're in on the game, or they know better. You've got two levels of Marxists. You've got your useful idiots on the street, and you've got your high-level wealthy Marxists who make up these stupid rules and get rich doing it. But at the end of the day, it's all about communism. But finally, after roughly 18 years and tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of women and young girls being raped, some of them more than 100 times. This article is hard to read. I'm not going to read it on air because it just... but check it out. Your mind will be blown. If you weren't believing me before, here's more proof. And the West is actually waking up now. I'm seeing it in the mainstream media. People are saying, hey, what's with all the, I've heard about, what is Telford? I don't understand. It's finally starting to come out.
Okay, very good. What else is going on, Kev?
Oh, I've got, check this out. So, Whitney Cummings was blowing the whistle on CNN.
Oh man. Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
I thought, what's his name there, was going to look for the nearest place to jump off the stage there.
I loved
Anderson.
it. Yeah, but look at this. This is from a right-wing comedian friend of mine, Chrissy Mayer. I'm not sure if you're...
Oh, yeah, I know who she is.
You know Chrissy, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at this. She tweeted, hey, Whitney Cummings, where were you in 2021 and 2022? Did you say anything about your fans being forced to get vaxxed to see you perform? Did you switch a single venue to take a stand against it? Do you regret it now? Glad you got management approval finally in 2025 to give the safest of takes on CNN. Groundbreaking. And you know what? Granted, Chrissy is a friend of mine. I'm on her side. As one of the, I have lost a ton of work for wearing this hat and believing what I believe. So now, I mean, it's great to see Whitney Cummings finally coming to the good side. But yeah, where were you, Whitney Cummings? Where were you when this was happening?
Yeah.
Are you sure you lost work because of the hat and not the Mrs. Howell vest you're wearing from Gilligan's Island?
Mrs. Howell, oh my God.
Could be the
Love it. Is that a love it sweater? Love it.
Love a vest.
Well, how would I look in that vest, do you think?
Let's find out.
Like the polar bear on the Coca-Cola commercial.
Come on, Slick.
Oh, now. Come on.
He could probably wear that thing as earmuffs.
Talk about unbearable.
I don't want to ruin your jacket. It's going to fit one arm for me.
Use it for like hand muffs, you know.
We'll do some more news here with Kevin in a second. Let's get a little sports in before we hit the top of the hour. The first hour is almost over already. Slickster, sports brought to you by Mike Lindell, MyPillow. What's going on?
All right, we'll get you back caught up on some scores. NCAA men's basketball, a couple of games. Ohio State right now trailing Michigan State 35-29, 46 seconds to go in the first half. Tonight, earlier, big win. Wisconsin bombs Iowa 116-85. Creighton and Marquette coming up at 9 p.m. NHL action. Canadians and Blackhawks now tied at 1. End of 1. End of 2. Penguins and Panthers also tied at 1. Blues blanking the Senators 2-0. End of 1 there. And Ducks and Oilers coming up at 9 p.m. Predators and Canucks 10 p.m. Light slate in the NHL. NBA action right now. We got the Spurs and Nuggets. That's coming up at 9. But the Cavs lead the Mavericks 15-11. 6 to go there in the first. Knicks up by 4 over the Thunder 48-44. 5 to go there in the second quarter. And, well, some sad story here. Saints mourn the loss of Superdome staffer killed in terror attack, Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. The New Orleans Saints are mourning the loss of Matthew Tenedorio, a staffer at the Caesars Superdome, who was among 14 people murdered by a terrorist on New Year's Day. The Saints took to social media to express their grief over Tenedorio's tragic death. Matthew was a young, talented, and had a bright future, helping deliver quality content for both the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans. Tenedoro's parents have said it was their son's dream to work at the Superdome, according to TMZ Sports. The grief-stricken family also said they knew something was wrong when they repeatedly tried to get in touch with him after learning of the attack. On Friday, Saints owner Gail Benson donated to the Greater New Orleans Foundation to aid victims of the terror attack. And unfortunately, that young man was born on Long Island in Mineola and was a resident. He grew up in Huntington before he moved to New Orleans. So very sad story, Big D. That hit close to home on Long Island with that young man from the Saints, the videographer. So, and that's a wrap in sports for this segment, Big D. I got a little bit more coming up. We got odds makers coming up in the last segment. Don't want to miss that.
Oh, you know what? Slick,
all right, very
as
good,
well,
Slick.
Sports-related New Jersey lacrosse star was also among.
Oh, yeah. No, and the fella from Princeton, too, the football player, former
Billy
football
DeMayo
player.
from Homedale, New Jersey, another local kid, went to celebrate New Year's Eve and go to the Sugar Bowl game.
Terrible.
And happened to be one of the victims, unfortunately.
And I saw on the news he was an absolute lovely gentleman, worked for a company. They thought the world of him as well. So terrible. And that's just... And he grew up in East Islip. Wow, geez! And just out of the 15 people, three of them had local, pretty much local
ties.
area. 2 from the island and 1 in Jersey. Terrible. That's
All right, so we'll do some more sports in hour 2. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell, MyPillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use. We'll do some more news as well with Delgado. Kevin Downey Jr., Aaron and Fran holding it down as always on a Pizza Friday night. Kelly Victory from the Wellness Company will join us as well in hour 2, plus the odds makers coming up tonight at 9:43. 9:43.
Last games of the regular season.
Last picks of the regular season. We don't have a guest tonight.
No.
So I will be picking along with Slick and Aaron.
Yeah. What a week to pick.
I will show Farmer Brooke how it's done.
Yeah? You're going to fly yourself to the show on Monday if you go 5-0 or 4-0. a show. Espresso. Chat. What's going on in the chat? YouTube chat. Child of the King with a huge, big D. Look at this one. $250 super chat from Child of the King. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
Goodness. Wow.
Just
let me find it here.
Unbelievable.
From the YouTube chat, for all of you at Live from Studio 6B, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Chat loves you and thanks you, Child of the King. Well, they thank you as well, and as do we, for all the support.
Unbelievable.
That's a lot of pizza on a Pizza Friday.
That can go towards pizza for the next 10 weeks on Long Island. That's about 3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe 4. Wow. Child of the King, man, what a blessing.
Amen.
Wow. Too much.
Yeah, if you see those, look, just let me know if I miss it. Sometimes they don't pop up.
Yeah, I just caught it.
CJ Moore on YouTube. Thank you, Rick Delgado, for not wearing beaver hats or fur. You have my respect. Kev, that's shots at me and you.
Yeah, I
wear the hat.
Come on,
and you're
poor
wearing
Kevin.
the fur.
Comes on once or twice a week. Treat him nice.
I mean, what the heck?
I'm going to wear my coonskin cap next time.
Leave it to Beaver.
And don't think I don't have one.
I'm going to wear my hat for the whole second hour now.
Where's your cowboy hat?
In my office.
Okay. They give you an office run here. Come on, Big Dick.
It's where we store the futon.
Yeah.
Oh, the Harry O's casting couch. Harry on the highway.
Where's Harry? Is he alive? Where the hell is he?
He was here earlier today.
He's been MIA.
Yeah.
What's he working like 9 to 5 now? What is this guy?
Come on, Harry.
Well, he can avoid us that way.
He's right.
I haven't seen
doing everything
Harry.
he can to avoid us.
I haven't seen Harry in a little bit.
Hey, he got here around noon, I'd say.
Oh, okay. It sounds like
Sorry to
you're
hear
thrilled.
that.
Sounds like you're thrilled about it, Aaron.
Maybe you guys should start working at like 7. Maybe you guys should come in at 7:59. Kevin Downey Jr., you need a Davy Crockett hat.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to
you're
have
right.
one next time I'm on.
Davy.
Yeah. Say
maybe
it, Big
2
D.
weeks.
Give us the whole line.
Maybe 2.
All right, hour 2 live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. Glad you're in. Slick Rick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's got the news. Kevin Downey Jr.'s got some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Hope you have a great weekend, everybody, as we get ready for Monday, January 6th. What a run it's going to be here, huh? Today, a lot of action today. Mike Johnson gets the gavel one more time. President Trump has to stop his golf game to get involved to talk to Ralph Norman and a couple others to get Johnson across the finish line. And now we move towards January 6th, of course, with the certification of the election, and the electors come to Congress. And of course, we all remember January 6th. And of course, on Monday, we'll get to see the theater, the great grand theater of the Democrats, again, objecting to those electors. Objecting. And Kamala Harris will get to say, as Joe Biden did in 2016, do you have a member of Congress that's also signed this? Well, no, I don't. Well, then sit the hell down. Like Stacey Plaskett today. Oh, my God. Sit down, clown. Well, you skipped over this nonsense. God, please go away.
You know what? I don't think this time they'll have a problem getting a senator to sign up.
Well,
they are lunatics, you know.
That would Monday could be an absolute nothing burger. We could just cruise on through, or it could be
a hot mess.
It could be a hot mess, depending on how much of a hot mess the Democrats want to try to be.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Stacey Plaskett little thing today would maybe lead you to believe that maybe they'll try to run some nonsense up the flagpole. In case you missed it, Stacey Plaskett today threw a temper tantrum on the floor because delegates from territories weren't called on to participate in the speaker vote. Of course, she's a delegate and doesn't know that they're not eligible to vote for the speaker, or maybe she does and she's just, putting on the theater show, like I said. But here's a little bit of that from today.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands seek recognition?
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. I note that the names of the representatives from the Americas Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia were not called, representing collectively 4 million Americans.
She's clapping for herself. It's like giving yourself your own nickname. So all of these people don't know the rules?
Of course they do.
Grandstand.
Mr. Speaker, collectively the largest per capita of veterans in this country.
Does the gentlelady have a parliamentary
I
inquiry?
asked why they were not called.
I wanted him to say, does she have a point?
Have some respect. It's not going to take...
Gentlelady's recognized.
I asked
Now, you
why
notice
they
what
were-
she said. Have some respect. It's not going to take that long, but
Right.
she's putting on a show.
She knows. Yeah.
Grandstand.
Well, I got to get through the script here, guys. Just let me get through it so I can make my point, and everybody can jump up and down and applaud like clapping seals for absolutely what's going to be no damn reason, and we all know that.
We're not called from the parliamentarian, please.
Delegates-elect and the resident commissioner-elect are not qualified to vote. Representatives-elect are the only individuals qualified to vote in the election of a speaker. As provided in Section 36 of the House Rules and Manual, the speaker is elected by a majority of the members-elect voting by surname.
Now, of course, she knows that. They all know that.
Yeah.
But this is the show that they're going to put on, and the point of this is to say, we'll see what Monday brings. We could get more theater like this. So who knows?
Doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
Wouldn't doubt it. Especially when I saw, I don't know if you saw this clip of some caller. I think it was, I want to say NPR, but I could be wrong, called in to a show and the guy was from California. Says, you know what? I can't stand, that we're going to have an insurrectionist as a president. Maybe some Democrats and independents can start an insurrection on Monday. It's like, dude, didn't you just... So you hate the fact that you're calling Trump an insurrectionist, but you want members of your own party and independents to step up and start the same insurrection. Just bananas. They're stupid. Yes. This is why liberals suck, because not only do they suck, but they're stupid and they suck.
Now, as many people said today, how is it possible that Stacey Plaskett, a 10-year member of the House of Representatives, as an at-large representative from the Virgin Islands, by the way, does not understand the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the House rules? And, oh, by the way, she's supposedly an attorney.
And she's never voted before, right?
So,
for the speaker, because she, like you said, she's from the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
So she knows she's never done this.
Of course she knows. What were you going to say, Kev?
Did you notice the Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico?
Yeah, of course.
These libs throw on this Mel Blanc like cartoonish sort of accent, and now as someone who's engaged to a fiery Puerto Rican woman, let me ask you, Mr. Delgado, do you recognize that accent?
Yes, I recognize it from all the what do you call it? The news reporters. Whenever they cover a name that ends in an O or an I or an A, it's always accentuated with the rolling R's.
Yeah, what kind of motorcycle you buy? Kawasaki. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's like,
Kawasaki. Vroom vroom.
What's up?
Vroom vroom.
What's up?
which is why I always pronounce his name Alejandro Mayorkas, because that's the way you're supposed to do it.
Where's Hillary Clinton when you need her?
Right.
Let me get a tostada.
Yeah. Exactly. What kind of motorcycle did you buy?
Kawasaki. Vroom, vroom.
Oh, God.
That's Suzuki.
You know what's really funny is that I think I posted it on my X account today. There was an old, and by old I mean like from the 90s, I think a commercial for Asian food where... Did you see it? Where the person takes a bite and all of a sudden her face changes into an Asian person. She's like, "Oh, these taste good." And then the guy eats it and he gets this.
You're allowed to put stuff like that on today?
Well, this is Germany in the 90s.
Yeah.
But that was
but I mean, where did you see it?
I saw it on X.
And you're allowed. Oh, on X, on X, I guess you can put it anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's free speech, man.
Freedom of speech.
Oh my!
And they all turned Asian just eating Asian food. It was wonderful.
Wow.
Like when Kevin, started to ride his favorite type of motorcycle.
Yeah,
what kind was that again?
He had the same face.
I was turning Japanese on my Kawasaki.
Wow.
Is there a lot of stuff that you'd love to do on your show that in your comedy show that you just don't because of the PC stuff now?
You know what? There was a time when I had to back off on some. Now I don't. Now we're at a different place. I go to venues who will embrace what I do, or who have audiences that will embrace what I do. And there's nothing like racist or wrong or anything like that. I'm just
do they embrace you dropping
equipment.
Yes, dropping your ears?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? I can go in. I have a joke. It doesn't make fun of trans people, but when I do it, when you say transgender, the whole crowd goes. And then I'm actually making fun of myself, so they laugh. But even the premise will get me kicked out of clubs in New York City. They won't even hear the punchline. Yeah. The people will shut down.
The guy comes down and yell, "Nuts here! Who wants nuts?" $5 a bag.
Oh, God. All right. Let's see. Let's do some news. We haven't done any news in a while.
All right.
With Mr. Cowes.
Hey.
No.
him. Okay.
With Rick Delgado.
Rick Suzuki.
News is brought to you. No, with you, Delgado. Freedom Force Nutrition, available live from Studio 6B. KDJ's not drunk.
No.
I might be, but he's not. What's going on, Delgado?
Well, say the name correctly. It's Delgado.
Delgado. That's right. You're Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sort of Rican. Anyhow.
Sort of Rican.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But I still have the fiery Latin temper. Anyhow, Russia finds partygoers, and this is a story just for you, Slick. Russia finds partygoers for looking too gay.
Oh, thanks.
Yes,
Really?
It turns out Russia fined at least 7 people for looking too gay after a police raid on a nightclub in Tula in February.
How would you do there? Dressed like that? I don't think it would probably go well.
He might get pulled over.
You might get hassled too.
Yeah, I might.
You wouldn't get thrown out of a window, I'll bet, but you might get hassled.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Depends.
I get the bum's rush.
Analysis of court records by the independent Russian media outlet showed at least 8 people were detained during an operation. They had an operation for this. Operation Too Gay, which videos show was carried out by men in military-style uniforms and helmets. So basically, the village people showed up to arrest these guys. Police charged the detainees trying to arouse interest in non-traditional sexual relations there, Damon, which has been a crime in Russia for a decade, although it's usually directed at those publishing pro-LGBTQ material, not those wearing unmanly clothing. And comes as the Kremlin ramps up to promote traditional values and has included tightening of anti-LGBT legislation and banning propaganda promoting a child-free lifestyle. Russia police were also reported to have raided several bars and nightclubs in Moscow under the laws criminalizing LGBT propaganda. So there you have it. Non-traditional sexual lifestyle under attack in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So beware. Now here's something interesting. Remember I told you about our mutual friend who's who could be considered a source for some interesting information?
I can't.
Well, he brought up the fact.
I just can't.
He brought up the fact, and this is this has been going on for a bit here. About the drones. Now, of course, now we know as New Year's and Christmas pass, drones have nobody's talking about drones anymore, but he did He said he saw one the other day over his house.
I bet he did.
Grabbed his binoculars to check it out.
Uh-huh.
Then it went behind some trees. He spotted another one. His wife pointed out another one. He went and looked at it with his binoculars, David.
Okay.
And noticed that it was spraying something.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, really?
It was spraying something. They've been doing this in China. This is cut number 5. They've been doing this in China for a couple of years now. As you can see, cut 5 here. Look at this.
Look at this.
Drones hovering over the city spraying. Now, this was happening during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that they were trying to come up with a, what do you call it? Needle-free way of inoculating everybody.
Yeah.
Through the method of possibly aerosol. Spraying basically vaccine into the air in hopes to inoculate the population.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is not just a joke. These things have been worked on for a while. There's a NPR article I found here, picture number 1, NPR mosquito vaccine. Headline, check this out. A box of 200 mosquitoes did the vaccinating in this malaria trial. It's not a joke. It's from NPR.
Not a joke.
One Seattle morning, Carolina Reed sat in a room with 9 other volunteers, each waiting to take part in a clinical trial of a new experimental malaria vaccine that included them sticking their arms into a box with 200 mosquitoes so they could get stung and therefore be inoculated with a vaccine. So maybe between what we heard from the guy with the Cybertruck about China, because China does spraying, what were they doing? Were they spraying something over New Jersey? I don't know. Makes you wonder. Shut up.
Aaron, do we have any Balvenie in the closet?
Wait. There's none left? You drank them all? Who drinks that? That stuff is terrible.
It's terrible. You're the same guy who told me goldfish is terrible, too.
You don't like goldfish?
I didn't say goldfish.
You don't like goldfish?
No.
Probably.
No. He uses some term, too. Eat too many, you can have, what's it called?
Diarrhea.
What comment?
Yeah, operation.
What?
Did Damon get up and stretch before he does his reads?
Oh,
Damon, you got reeds. Everybody's running away from reeds.
Rick, did you read Bill Gates and his flying vaccinators?
Yeah.
They're not joking.
I'm telling you, I started doing this deep dive today.
I was all over that too. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
But when my source said,
Yeah. That's insane.
it's face it, what do they do? They can't sit there and say, well, we don't really do any spraying in the cloud.
Child of King in the YouTube.
seeding.
Damon, you have 6 reads. 6. Just added 5 for you.
Okay, let me get here.
There is a crazy flu going around. As the Kawasaki cough.
Oh,
And the Suzuki sneeze. And the Honda whooping cough.
BG and TWC. Oh, no, just BG. Okay. Just one, friend.
Yeah, just the one.
Okay. All right.
Rebecca Rupert says Damon has been throat clearing a lot tonight. He needs a Ludens.
What?
He needs a Pine Brothers.
Clearing? I haven't. La 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 la. My throat's good.
Child of the King, Rick Amorati. Please ask Rick D if he looked into the weird fog. You've been talking about the fog all week.
Talking about the fog.
He's perpetually in it, so don't worry.
Oh, child of
I would sound like the blues on a Friday night. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Birch Gold. Increased tariffs on our trade partners, tax cuts and regulation changes. Learn why gold is a viable diversification tactic now more than ever. Birch Gold, the only gold company that you need to trust, is releasing their ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era with a foreword written by Donald Trump Jr. To get your free copy along with Birch Gold's free information kit on gold, text the word America to the number 989898. Here are the facts. The national debt continues to increase. The interest payments on the debt continue to increase. Gold is still your hedge against a weakened dollar. And Birch Gold is still the company that you can trust to help convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. So text the word America, send it to 989898 for your free copy of the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era. There's no obligation, only information. They have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews, thousands of satisfied customers. You too can trust Birch Gold. Text the word America, send it to 989898 and do it today. 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and My Pillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you shop at My Pillow at checkout. It'll give you a great savings if you punch that code into the promo code box. Sometimes up towards 50-60% off whatever you put in your cart. It's a great savings. Slick's got sports. What's going on, Slickster?
All right, Big D. Well, last sweep of the scoreboard, because our last sports segment will obviously be the odds makers coming up in the 8th segment there at 9:53. Big D. Here we go. Minnesota right now. The Golden Gophers have jumped up big over Virginia Tech at the half, leading 21-10 in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. One of those smaller bowls that are going on right now. Of course, we got the big college football playoffs coming up next week. We'll be doing our odds makers as well. Can't wait for that. I believe that's next Thursday and Friday. Big college games with playoff implications, actually. And a couple other scores in the scoreboard there. We got NBA action going on right now. We get the Spurs right now over the Nuggets 10-4 early on. Cavs lead the Mavericks 43-30, 8 to go there in the 12th. The Knicks 66-54 over the Thunder at the half. Knicks forward, Mikal Bridges with 19 points to lead all scorers right now. Hornets 90-94, trailing the Pistons right now. 2:58 to go there in the 4th. And the Magic beating the Raptors there 85-66. That's 5:52 seconds to go there in the 3rd. And we got some big games coming up tomorrow night as well in the NFL. We're going to get to that. The Browns and Ravens, Bengals and Steelers. Of course, those will be in our odds makers. One quick story I would like to get to before that, Big D, is California surfer rides potential world record 108-foot wave. That is some wave. Simon Kent of Breitbart, a 23-year-old California surfer, may well have set a world record for riding the biggest wave ever confronted while he was challenging turbulent storm waters just south of San Francisco. Somebody was mixing a martini for Pelosi, probably. Alessandro Alo Slabir has been credited with the feat of Maverick's surf spot near Half Moon Bay. Vice reports that should the measurements be verified, Slabir's wave is estimated to have been 8 feet tall. Newsweek notes the current Guinness Book World Record for the largest wave surfed is held by Germany's Sebastian Stuntner, who successfully conquered an 86-foot wave off the coast of Norte, Portugal on October 29, 2020. According to local publication SF Gate, Slabir's potentially record-breaking surf took place at around 3:15 on December 23rd as the Golden State endured a winter storm which saw powerful winds and flooding for some areas. Slabir posted a photograph on Instagram of himself surfing down a colossal wave. You get a chance, check it out. The wave is absolutely massive. 108 feet. That's incredible. So we'll find out. We'll have to check back and see what the update is on that, Big D. And I'll throw it back to you because I know we got a full segment of odds makers coming up in the last segment, and that's a wrap in sports.
All right, Slick. Very good. Let's do some news. Rick Delgado's got the news. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, I'll steer clear of that one. Anyhow, I wasn't really prepared for news right now, to be honest with you.
All right, let's do some news with Kevin Downey Jr. Kevin Downey Jr., the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 9 to 11 weekday mornings, 103.9 LI News Radio. What's going on, Kev?
Well, thank you, D. I'm prepared.
Yes, you always are.
Here we go. Thank you. So there's there's a bit of a Nazi. This man is something of a Nazi. He's been convicted of killing 4 people in a Paris synagogue bombing. And, the funny part is that was in Paris, and he's in Canada, and he's teaching a class now at the college called Social Justice. And Canada hasn't turned him over yet to France, even though the bombing was in 1980. He was convicted in absentia, meaning they couldn't get their hands on him, but they know where he is. And not only is he not in jail, he's teaching social justice classes at Carleton University. Now, as you may know, folks, the universities in North America have seen some Hitler Youth action lately, chasing down Jewish students and terrorizing them and doing all sorts of fun stuff like that. Now, normally in America, we would imprison people who kill people. Now in Canada, they're gonna give you a job. You're gonna be teaching the young kids just what you think of social justice. And he's there now. Elon Musk even chimed in and wrote, "A mass murderer is living as a professor in Canada? How does this happen? Blah, blah, blah." And no one knows. No one knows. His guy's name is Hassan Niam Diab. Sounds Japanese. He's found guilty of being involved in the 1980 Rue Copernic bombing. 4 people killed, probably Jewish, because it was a synagogue. And this sort of thing is not anything new. I mean, this is a bad one. Obviously, this is a really bad one. But we also have people teaching classes on Zionism. There's the guy who at Columbia University who cheered on the October 7th savagery. He's now teaching a class on why Zionism is evil. So I'm telling you, as sure as the sun will rise, folks, Islam is a main part of the New World Order. They told you if you condemn anything, if you criticize any people of other ethnicities or religions, you're a bigot. And they did that to soften you up, to replace you. Yes, you. That's why they did it. That's why there are cops in England who will not arrest rapists. And it's coming here. I promise you it is. So this election day win, this wasn't the end of the problem. This was the beginning of the battle. Now, please keep your foot on the gas, and we got to keep it going, because whatever's going on in England, it's about 5 years from us. Canada, maybe 2.5. If Kamala had won, we'd be doing the same thing. We'd be hiring people who killed Jews as our university teachers.
Okay, very good. I did notice this in the news today. We'll get back to Kev's news here in a second. This judge in New York is so out of control. Judge Juan Merchan is not letting go. Not letting go. Judge in the hush money case against President-elect Donald Trump announced on Friday his sentencing date of January 10th, but hinted that he would not face any jail time. Judge Juan Merchan said Trump would be sentenced on January 10th, about a week before the inauguration, but he signaled that he would issue an unconditional discharge that would preclude jail time, probation, or a fine. The judge said that the interests of justice would be served only, quote, by bringing finality to this matter. Merchan had previously rejected arguments by Trump's attorneys that the case should be tossed out based on presidential immunity claims. He wrote that the evidence was related entirely to unofficial conduct and was not subject to immunity. Trump has been found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the New York case related to hush money allegedly paid to Stormy Daniels, blah, 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 blah. Trump will take office for the second time on January 20th, and then will become the first U.S. president to be convicted of a crime and the first convicted criminal to be elected to the presidency. That's how they end this article, which I guess is maybe the point of the January 10th date.
Yeah.
Pretty much summed up right there. All right, live from Studio 6B. We're back on a Friday night right after this.
asks these questions?
Oh, you know what I heard about this Judge Marchand thing? Trump doesn't go to jail unless he gets arrested again. They're going to arrest him 2 days after he's out of office. Or 2 days before he takes off.
Well, if they're going to sentence him, then he can finally appeal it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But they just want to hang that. They just want to hang that on him.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Ooby dooby. Now, they must have dug up that picture. That's a stalker right there. That's great. It's always great to see Roy Orbison.
LFS6B would be great when Slick does sports reports to actually show video footage. It would be great if we could. We're going to need a couple extra super chats to be able to pay the millions.
Exactly.
The millions of licensing fees it would take to be able to do that.
That's the only reason, my friends, and always has been for 5 years.
If you want to do a GoFundMe for Slick Sports on LFS6B for licensing agreements for the NBA, the NFL, MLB, I think the going rate will probably be somewhere in the, I don't know.
They're not cheap. That's
10
for sure.
to 15 mil range.
And probably, yeah.
Dr. Victory is not picking up. Okay. Let me text.
Back in the chat.
Are we calling her cell or we're just calling the... All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. So, Washington Times today. The rules package for the 119th Congress include a slew of Republican priorities for the inner workings of the House and included compromises on certain procedures that could earn Mike Johnson some cushion from hardliners that have been critical of his tenure as Speaker. Republicans framed the rule changes today as a positive step forward to implement President-elect Donald Trump's agenda, while Democrats were incensed over some of the last-minute changes. The House passed the rule changes 215 to 209. The rules package also includes an extension of the House's subpoena powers from the previous sessions and teed up a vote on a dozen Republican bills to be voted on at a later day. The biggest ticket item in the package was the change to the motion to vacate the chair, which gave Mike Johnson protection from an arcane procedure that gained prominence during the last session of Congress. Representative Aaron Hoshin, Indiana Republican, called the change to the motion to vacate necessary in order for the GOP to, quote, avoid the chaos and personal vendettas from derailing our work as was done in the last Congress. It now takes 9 lawmakers from the majority party instead of just 1 from either party to force a vote to oust the Speaker. Democrats took issue with the change, particularly over allowing only members of the majority party to enact proceedings to oust the sitting Speaker. Democrat lawmakers also disliked one of the last-minute changes to the rules that would allow only bills to run under suspension, which requires at least 2/3 of the House to vote in favor of the passage to be brought to the House floor only on a Monday through a Wednesday. Mike Johnson used that process often to pass major spending legislation and most recently put the latest government funding extension under suspension on the floor on a Friday, hours before the deadline to keep the government open. Representative James McGovern, the top Democrat on the House Rules Committee, argued that the change to suspension bills would slow down the House from passing bills. Well, that's actually probably a good thing, particularly when dealing with a national emergency like a natural disaster or a terror attack. That's actually why this extreme Republican majority wants to make the change. They hate bipartisanship, he said. This is a guy from Massachusetts. So that's a little bit of what went on today. The House Rules package, again, taking the Pelosi 5 members to vacate the chair and moving it up to 9. And like we've said pretty much all show, we'll see now what a Speaker Mike Johnson looks like under a President Trump. And let's just hope it's a lot different than he looked like under President Biden. So
let's hope.
All right, let's do so. Do you want to do some news, though, Goddard, or would you like Kevin to do some more?
No, I got some that I was holding on to that I couldn't find. But yeah, go to Kevin.
No, go ahead.
All right, let's do the news with Rick. I thought you were serious. Did you have something?
No.
Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, talking about the speaker there, this happened today as well. According to CBS News, Senate Majority Leader John Thune said earlier today he doesn't believe there's clarity yet on whether all 53 Republican senators will support President-elect Donald Trump's picks for the second administration. Yes, who didn't see this coming? In an interview with Face the Nation's Margaret Brennan, Thune, who took charge of the Senate earlier today with the start of the 119th Congress, was asked whether he knows of some of his GOP colleagues who will vote against confirming, and they specifically name 2 individuals, Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary or Kash Patel for Director of the FBI. We don't have, at this point, I don't think clarity on that, Thune said. I think these are nominees who are new enough. They've been going around conducting their meetings, which I think, frankly, have gone very well, but I still think they need to make their case in front of the committee. And we don't know all the information about some of these nominees. There's this little tell. I think we know a lot about them, but they deserve a fair process, and that's what we're committed to and promised, and I expect to deliver on that.
Here's what you have to know, your daily update on John Thune. John Thune has decided to put committee assignments together, and guess who John Thune has decided to put on the all-important Judiciary Committee? The Judiciary Committee. How about Adam Holy Schiff? How about that?
Wow.
Explain. Please, somebody. Ask Grok, whatever it's called. Ask ChatGPT. Somebody get me an answer on how John Thune thinks it's a good idea to put Adam Schiff on the Judiciary Committee. Like, what?
He might not be there long enough.
I mean, how? Like, how? After what this guy has done, how does he end up on the judiciary? Anybody? Bueller?
Yeah. Insane. Thune noted that Republicans have a 3-vote margin in the Senate and said each individual senator will decide how to vote on Trump's picks. And I don't know if you caught this from the other day, but President-elect Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, sent out a message this past Sunday to refrain, telling all the people nominated to refrain from posting anything on social media as the Senate confirmation hearings are scheduled to start next week. While the instruction has been delivered previously, I am reiterating, it says here, that no member of the incoming administration or transition speaks to the United States or President-elect himself, speaks for the United States or President-elect himself. According to all intended nominees should refrain from any public social media posts without prior approval of the incoming White House counsel, she said in a December 29th submissive. So there you have it. The first female chief of staff, nicknamed the Ice Maiden, has just sent out a frosty little note to everybody. Keep your mouths shut. Things are getting tight, and time is upon us. So there you have that. I don't know if you caught this as well. I know I'm not a fan of these people, the Young Turks, but sounds sometimes when they start to make sense, you got to pay attention.
You do?
Yeah, especially to someone like Anna. How do you pronounce her last name?
Kasparian.
Kasparian. This is her from the other day. Basically, it sounds like she's leaving the Democrat Party. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if I'm just reading into it. But you take a look at this yourself, and at least somebody who's saying, you know what, maybe I'm gonna. Maybe I'll leave the Democrat Party, but I'm going to be an independent, because she's talking about getting red-pilled here in cut number 1. So check this out.
I've never read a quote that resonated with me more than this one does. So I'm going to read it. Okay. So you don't get red-pilled overnight. It's the issues that affect your everyday life first, and then you connect them with people, and then you connect it with a party. That is so true. And that is what I was trying to get across to people. When you're affected day to day by quality of life issues, and all you hear from the Democratic Party is shut up, no, it's not happening, and if it's happening, it's not that big of a deal. Man, that really does red pill people. It builds resentment toward the party. And I really think that Democrats need to pivot away from that, because they're going to keep losing if they think that type of treatment of voters, that type of disrespect toward voters is going to get them anywhere.
Yeah, so there you have it, talking about getting red-pilled and how living and experiencing these things kind of opens your eyes and you start to kind of put it all together. You know, some people do get red-pilled overnight. Some people takes a little longer.
Okay. I don't necessarily know that I buy that from her, but take the little W's where you can get them.
Yeah, this is the one who's she's been howling over the possibility of Kamala Harris running for governor.
She lives in California, and she's dealing with the crime probably every day, I think is what she's referring to. I think she got accosted somewhere, actually. I think she told that story. So I think specifically she's referring to basically to that. But she's not getting red-pilled on any other issues. I mean, she wants to talk about this one specifically, and she's right about that, but I don't think we'll see her at the RNC anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Anyhow.
So did you see President Trump today made some new appointments, and one of them caught my attention, and that is the special presidential envoy to the Middle East to work with Steve Witkoff. And that would be one Morgan Ortagus. Does that name sound familiar? Well, it should. Because she was from the first Trump administration until she left and started trashing the president all over CNN. And when I saw this, I thought, could Alyssa Farha Griffin be too far away? What's she going to be? Grab her off The View again? I'm not really. I have the same reaction to this that I have to Adam Schiff. Can someone explain this?
No.
Are we that far down the list of people available? I mean, we can't be. How can we be?
I'll do it.
I mean, yeah.
I'd do a better job than this chick.
Morgan Ortagus. Boy, I mean, I have said that Trump is way more magnanimous than people give him credit for, but I think this one may be even pushing it. But by the way, he says, I'm pleased to announce Morgan Ortagus as Deputy Special Presidential Envoy for Middle East Peace to the Honorable Stephen Witkoff. Early on, Morgan fought for me for 3 years, but hopefully has learned her lesson. These things usually don't work out, but she has strong Republican support. And I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for them. Let's see what happens. She will hopefully be an asset to Steve, a great leader and talent. As we seek to bring calm and prosperity to a very troubled region, I expect great results and soon.
All right. Well, now we know what that's about.
And that would be?
He wants something out of, I guess, probably votes. They're like, well, put her in something and be like, all right, I'm going to do it for you. Like he says, I'm doing it for them. Let's see what happens. If he doesn't get what he wants, he could probably just yank her. But this seems like it's...
I mean, is there anything that you won't excuse away?
No, I'm not excusing it away. I'm going by his words. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for them. Who's the them he's talking about? People that came to him and said, please do this for us and we'll do this for you? That's what it looks like. It looks like they worked out a deal. I'm not saying it's a great deal.
Yeah. You know what? Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee said when a Republican doesn't vote the way you think they should, it's because they have something on that person.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's Thune with Schiff. It's all of them. Yep. They're all in the Uniparty. The swamp defends itself. The swamp exists to defend itself. And if you're not in it, then they're going to either kick you out. And I think that's what happened to the comedian from Minnesota, Al, what's his face?
Franken.
Al Franken, yeah. I think he didn't want to be a swamp dweller. He said, all right, we got to get rid of him.
Right.
Because he went down for way less than what other people, even Democrats, have gotten away with. He took a picture pretending to touch a woman's boobs while she was sleeping.
Now, again, back to his comment. He wrote, "These things usually don't work out, but she has strong Republican support."
I think what he means is these things don't usually work out, meaning you bring somebody back who's basically been a snake behind your back, running to these networks and talking trash about policies you've adopted and whatever else she's done, to think that all of a sudden now they've changed. Again, it just made me think immediately of Alyssa Griffin over there on The View.
But he says, I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for them.
To think you're going to bring her back and somehow it's going to end up being differently if things go sideways. When people show you who they are, I would suspect you should believe them, I think is what he means. But I don't know. We'll see.
Somebody was begging him to do this.
All right, we'll wrap it up on a Friday night right after this. All right, chat. What's going on?
Chat.
Doo-doo.
Somebody just sent a go refund me for Delgado.
Go refund me
in the YouTube chat.
Someone wrote, might as well.
Heritage was vetting people to help Trump in the administration, but he decided to trash them. Now he picks bad people again. Well, I guess we'll see, but Morgan Ortega, I think she was recently on Gutfeld.
He's still on maternity leave, Gutfeld, right?
Is he?
Been out for a while.
These four guys are clueless, I think. Welcome to the show.
Aaron, stop writing shit.
Damon, have a blessed weekend. Kentucky Hill Jill, thank you. You too. Damon, you in this weekend? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Oh, it's odds makers time.
That's what they're talking about.
Oh man, I guess I have to. Better start looking at the games here.
Wow, man!
You think you only got a minute?
Jeez, you take more time to prepare for the show.
Holy cow! Let's see.
It's a weird week because you got guys getting rested, and you got teams that are playing.
Oh,
for
that's
seeds.
true too. I shouldn't be.
It's a hot mess, man.
Do we know who's playing? What games matter?
Well, the Minnesota game is everything against Detroit. That's the 8 p.m. game.
Does the Cincy-Pittsburgh game matter at all?
Yeah, sure. Since he's trying to hang in there, they lose, they're out of the playoffs.
Okay.
Pittsburgh is kind of just playing for a seed. They're trying to catch. Well, they won't. I don't think they can catch Baltimore. I think Baltimore has the tiebreaker on that. Baltimore has that division locked up. Plus, they're playing Cleveland. They're favored by 20 or 18 or something like that. Yeah, forget that game. Baltimore's winning that division. But Cincinnati is playing big time for that game.
So what games matter?
Cincinnati game, obviously.
Cincy-Pittsburgh.
The Minnesota game matters.
Mini Detroit.
Yeah, the Charger game doesn't matter. The Seattle game doesn't matter. Hold on.
right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night. Last segment of the show. We moved it because we were supposed to have a guest, but the guest, well, didn't guest. So we're
better things to do.
Yeah, I guess. So 13 to the hour, we'll Friday night, which means we'll do now our Friday night odds makers. Final week of the regular season, week 18 in the NFL is here. We have no guest representing the audience tonight, I guess. So we have Slick and Aaron.
Yep.
And I'll jump in as representing the audience this week. So I will represent the audience this week. What are the records right now, Aaron? Do we know?
Yes, records for the audience overall right now is 20-35.
Got your work cut out.
Oof.
Yeah,
I got to pick like every game and win every game to get him back.
Well, you only got 4 games to pick, so you can
okay, well, fine.
can't get it all back. But
and then what are the other records?
Right now, Slick is 38-38.
Okay, 500.
Not bad.
And I am 42-34.
Is Slick's best week the week that I picked for him?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
very
no,
good.
he went 4-0. He went 4-0.
I went 4-0.
Oh, he went 4-0 one week? Okay.
Earlier in the year.
Okay, very good. All right, Slickster, let's kick it off. Week 18, game number 1. Where are you going?
All right, I'm going to Cincinnati. We're going to go to the 8 o'clock primetime game tomorrow night. Big D. I'm going to Pittsburgh. Cincinnati is visiting Pittsburgh, I should say.
Cincinnati minus 2.5 on the road at Pittsburgh, 8 p.m. on Saturday night. Cincinnati 8-8, Pittsburgh 10-6. Cincinnati looking to get in. Do they get in with a win, or does anything else have to happen?
I think they needed Miami to lose because Miami's sitting there in the 8th seed right now at 8-8 as well. So they need a little help. But with Tua Tagovailoa likely not playing, they have a shot. But Cincinnati has to win Saturday night if they want anything to watch on Sunday or any kind of hope. They're surging right now. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I like the way they're playing. Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson. It looks like they're just going to kind of keep it close to the vest and get ready for the playoffs. I like Cincinnati going in. I like them covering by at least a field goal.
All right, Cincinnati minus 2.5 for Slick, game number 1. Aaron, where are you going for game number 1?
I'm going with Slick on this one. I'm going to pick Cincinnati over the Steelers. Steelers are coming off 3 games in the last 11 days. They lost all 3, did not do well in any of the 3. I think they only scored like 30 points in all 3 of those games combined. And Joe Burrow and company is going to be motivated to keep their winning streak going. And they put up more points on the Steelers than any other program this year. So I think they're going to try and keep that going this week. Obviously, they want to play for a playoff spot, and I think they're going to win and cover.
All right, very good. Aaron, good analysis there. Cincinnati minus 2.5 over Pittsburgh. Slick minus 2.5, Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. All right, game number 1, Big D. I'm going to the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game. I'm going with Pittsburgh plus 2.5. No analysis needed. Slick, where are you going for game number 2?
I can see where this is going, this show. Okay, L.A. Chargers, Big D, and the Las Vegas Raiders getting it on. 2 complete polar opposites. You got the Chargers at 10-6, the Raiders at 4-12, playing for a draft pick. The Chargers are playing for a seeding. Justin Herbert looking good, and I think John Harbaugh is going to have his boys ready to go. So I'm going with the Chargers. I have laying 5.5. I'm not
4.5.
Sure. 4.5. Well, I like that even better. I'll take it. Book it. I'm taking the Chargers laying 4.5.
All right, Chargers minus 4.5, 4:25 on Sunday afternoon at Las Vegas. Aaron, where are you going for game number 2?
We're going to go to Philly for game number 2. I'm going to take the Eagles over the Giants. I had 2.5.
2.5, yep.
Perfect. I'm going to go with them. Philly already clinched the number 2 NFC seed, and they're going to be playing mostly backups and third stringers, but I don't really think that's going to make a difference playing the Giants, even though they decided to finally show up this last week, and they have ruined their draft position. But I believe it was a fluke win. They're not really going to put much up on offense this week. I think they just wanted to win since they were at home last week. That's that.
All right, Aaron's taking Philly minus 2.5 in game number 2. Game number 2 for Big D. I'm going to Philly. I'm going to take the Giants plus 2.5.
You just want to go against me every pick.
Over Philadelphia. Giants coming off the big win last week where the offense finally showed up. I think they continue that offensive
great analysis.
Offensive juggernaut that they've become. So give me the Giants plus 2.5 over Philly, game number 2. Game number 3, Slick, where are you going?
We're going to Inglewood, Big D. We're going to SoFi Stadium. The Rams, who are already coasted and clinched, they are in the playoffs, ready to roll. They'll be resting everybody. Matthew Stafford sitting on the bench. They're taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, well, they're out of the playoffs, but I think they got some milestones, individual milestones they want to get. A lot of guys on the field looking for something to prove there because I don't know where they're going to be playing, whether in Seattle or somewhere else. And I really like the Seahawks, but they're laying big wood on the road road, Big D. 6.5 points is what
7 right now.
7. Oh my God. I can't change my pick. I'm going to take Seattle anyway. I'm going to lay the 7.
All right, Slick's taking Seattle -7 for game number 3. Aaron, where are you going for game number 3?
We're going to go to Tennessee for game number 3. I'm going to pick the Texans over the Titans. They're getting 1.5, I believe.
Houston +1 over Tennessee. Houston +1 over Tennessee.
All right, I'll go with that. I'm going to still stick with the Texans. Going into this game, the Titans really don't have much to play for, and I think at this point they're not going to have much of a desire to win the game and hurt their draft stock. Right now, the Texans are sitting at 9-7 at the top of the AFC South. They've won 3 of their last 4, lost to the Titans, and the Titans haven't won since. So I think the Titans are kind of phoning it in, and I think the Texans are going to win and cover.
All right, Houston +1 there over Tennessee for Aaron, game number 3. Game number 3 for me, I'm going to go out to L.A. I'm going to take the Rams +7 over Seattle. Rams +7 over Seattle, 10-6 at home, +7 with a total of 38. It's just too many points. Expect the Rams to keep it within the number, especially with a total that low. That tells me the odds makers think this game could be a little tighter. Rams +7 at home. I'll take it at 425. Slick, where are you going for game number 4?
7 on the road, Big D. I don't know about that one. All right, we're going to the big game, the Granddaddy of them all this weekend. We got Minnesota going to Ford Field, Detroit. Delgado's sending me debunked videos of lions roaming the streets of Detroit.
Yes.
Of course, it's not true, but I can tell you this much. You know what's going to be happening? No, I think Lions fans are going to be bemoaning the streets after this game. I like Minnesota in this one, +2.5 on the road. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, he's got them ready. Sam Darnold, he's not going to see any ghosts. 81.5% completion rate. Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson. Are you kidding me? Aaron Jones, running back. They've got the team. I think they're going to go in. They're going to win this one. They looked fantastic in last week's game against Atlanta, and I really like Minnesota +2.5. What do you have there?
Yep, +2.5 is right. Aaron, where are you going for game number 4?
Winner gets number 1 seed.
I'm going with the Detroit Vikings game. I'm going to pick Detroit here. I'm going to lay the 2.5 at home. I think this game is honestly going to come down to time management. If you look back at their Week 7 game, Detroit did a much better job of managing the clock at the end of the game, and Minnesota just couldn't keep up. And I think that the Detroit Lions have a much They have much more big game situations than the Vikings do when it comes to a time like this where the stakes are really high. Sam Darnold does tend to kind of crumble, and I think that we're going to see that on Sunday night. I think the Lions are going to win and cover easily.
Okay. If I had to pick one side in this game, I wouldn't pick the game side. I'd pick the total. The over-under is 56, and I think it's going to go over the total of 56. I think both teams will have a shootout here. I think that's a high total in the NFL, and I think they put it there for a reason. I think you're going to get a lot of points in this game, so I'm going to go in this game over 56 as my final pick on the odds maker. So over 56 for me in game 4. So there you go. There's a week 18 in the NFL odds makers. We'll see what we put a wrap on the regular season.
Nice.
And then we got to start thinking about who's coming back for the playoff.
That's right.
Odds makers.
Yep. We got Chip has got to be coming back.
Chip is the leader in the clubhouse, right?
Chip is the man.
Chip is the only one who's gone 3-1.
And me.
Wow.
And you, yes.
Yes, you
so
too.
I guess you're
That's
coming
right.
back.
So I'm coming back, and Chip's coming back.
Yeah, and then we got a bunch of 2-2s that I'm going to have to probably do a random number generator.
We'll do a random number generator on the 2s and 2s, and we'll see who comes back for that. So, all right, there you go. As always, we salute our military, active, inactive, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, all our truckers, all our farmers, everybody that keeps the country moving forward. Kevin Downey Jr., thanks so much. You can hear him weekdays 9 to 11, LI News Radio, 103.9 on Long Island. Rick Delgado, Slick Rick, Aaron, Frank, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday night, back for a new week, 8 p.m. right here, live from Studio 6B.